Jerry Mallory here for SB Nation and PrivateTrade.com, here to talk about Lions versus Vikings. I've got the Lions winning this game 24-20, and I've got three reasons why. First off, let's set the plate. Let's set the table, so to speak. This is a very big game. Both teams are 0-1. It's the home opener for Minnesota. It's the long-awaited return for Adrian Peterson. Both the Lions and the Vikings, as the season began, have playoff aspirations, NFC North aspirations. So it's very important because there's a big difference between 0-2 and 1-1. Combine that with the NFC North bout. This is going to be, as WWE's Jim Ross used to say, a slobber knocker. Can't wait for this game. But like I said, I've got our team winning. Got the Lions winning, and I've got three reasons why. First and foremost, it's going to be a resurgence and a dominant performance by the defensive line. Now, last week at the end of the game, San Diego, Detroit kind of dogged out the defensive line. I kind of went up there and said that they're going to play really bad. Well, this week, I've got both lines, really. The offensive line and the defensive line having a resurgence and having a dominant game. There's health issues on both sides. One good for the Lions, some bad for Minnesota, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But if you look at the both lines, offensive and defensive, they're going to sit there and say we could have played better in San Diego. Well, it was very hot in San Diego. There was a disparity in terms of time of possession. Both lines, offensive and defensive, not just one, should have a resurgent and dominant performance, which is going to help. Now let's look at the defensive line a little bit closer. Haloti Ngata, another week in the system. We know he's got the hurt shoulder, but that should be okay. Ezekiel Ansah looking to make his presence felt. I mean, we've got the names there. Teron Walker had a really good game after watching the game for about a third time. You saw that he got in there quite a bit. So look for both lines, actually, to have a much improved performance. We're a little bit healthier on both sides of the ball, so it should be in our favor. Number two is going to be adjustments. Now, this is a team, the Lions, that oftentimes they were down in the first half of games. In 2014, they made these adjustments. Didn't happen last game. They didn't make the adjustments. We kept getting beat on the short passes. Well, this game should be a little bit different. Look for adjustments to be made. Adjustments as in Amir Abdullah getting more than 7 carries. Calvin Johnson getting more than 3 targets. Those two adjustments alone should improve the offense quite a bit. But even on the defensive side, look for the team to put more emphasis on stopping the shorter passes. It killed us against Green Bay last year. It killed us against Dallas, and now against San Diego. We think Terrell Austin is this good defensive coordinator. I still believe in him. So that being said, he has to make his presence felt. He has to make adjustments. They like to play Darius Slay on one side of the ball, Rasheem Mathis on the other. That's fine. If you're going to be stubborn in that way, that's fine, but you got to make adjustments. You got to work on not giving these guys as much cushion, and I think the scheme should be in our favor because Minnesota, although they do some short passes, and Kyle Rudolph is a fine tight end, they also like to do longer developing plays. You've got Mike Wallace, who's a deep threat. They like to throw the ball deep to Charles Johnson. Those type of plays take longer to develop, and that is in the favor of the Detroit defense. So look for adjustments on both sides of the ball as to a big reason why Detroit will be victorious over Minnesota. Now, we're looking at all these reasons. The last one, I kind of alluded to it, was health. We've got some major cogs coming back. That right side of the offensive line was terrible last week. Well, exit 2 guys, enter 2 guys. Adrian Waddle, Larry Warford. That should shore up the right side of the line quite a bit. Now, who you have at your left guard, it's going to come down to Manny Ramirez or Laken Tomlinson. I feel comfortable with either one. I think Manny might get the nod in this one. This also means we have an extra offensive lineman that we can use in special packages, run packages, max protect packages. We saw this in the first year with Riley Reef. He was not a starter, but he would come in and be an extra blocker as a registered tight end, but just there to block. We may see this tonight, whether this afternoon, with either Manny Ramirez or Laken Tomlinson on the inside. You can even swing Reef as a available tight end. There's a lot of mismatches and things you can do. So the health is going to be huge. And on the other side, for Minnesota, they've got their starting center out. They've got their starting tackle out. This favors Detroit. It's a war of attrition. We're getting a little bit healthier. Still no Levy. That's going to hurt us, but we're getting a little bit more healthy, especially on the right side of the line, which struggled, to me, more than any other unit in last week's game. So that's going to do it, guys. Keep in mind, not here to toot my own horn, but my predictions have been pretty solid. I've talked about it a million times, getting the 11-5 right last year. But not only that, predicting almost every single game before the year began, I was right except for about 2 or 3 of the games. Not to mention that you got the whole season right. Predicted us to lose last week. Wasn't happy about it. Wasn't proud that I was right, but I did get it right. So let's see what happens this week. Will I keep the momentum going? Will you guys keep the momentum going? I know a lot of you are picking us to rebound. Once again, 24-20 in favor of our Detroit Lions. We need this game. You don't want to go 0-2 head into your home opener. That affects the energy at Ford Field. Then you've got a 2-0 team in the Denver Broncos. Any advantage, and we can look up and be 0-3. Then you've got Seattle the following week. Monday Night Football on the road, 0-4. It's a snowball effect that you just don't want to happen. So we have to find a way to get the victory this week, go 1-1, head back home for the primetime game, and have a strong statement with the crowd behind you, with the crowd being confident against Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Let's not look too far ahead. Let's focus on Minnesota. Hopefully this will be a win. I think it will be. What do you think? All right, guys, that's going to do it. I'll be back after the game. So in a few more hours, you'll see this face again, maybe with a tie, maybe without, maybe with a tie and no shirt. Who knows? But I will be back. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Keep subscribing, keep watching, keep listening. And as always, this has been Jerry Mallory for SB Nation and PrivateTroy.com.